Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do a collective tarot, a tarot for today. Today is Tuesday, December 30th, 2025. You may follow me on the Attack the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. If some of it fits, God's kiss. We love that for you. Whatever doesn't, just leave it on the table for someone else. You don't need to take on energy that wasn't meant for you. Seriously. Yeah. We're going to use Intuitive City Oracle, Rob Barthelman. You can find this at intuitiveintention.com, My Intuitive Intention on Etsy, and sometimes TikTok. I haven't seen him on there in a while. Probably like 2 months maybe. Last time I saw him, it was just kind of on accident. Oh, what is this? Okay, we got 2 on the table. One is a major, and that major is in reverse. And it's one of my favorite majors. Oh no. I say that all the time in the morning with affirmations for the Creator Oracle. Can you guess what it was that fell out of the deck? Oh my God. I'm just joking around. All right. 4 on the table, 2 majors, 1 major is in reverse. 2 more shuffles. It doesn't matter. This is just last shuffle. This is self energy. Like it's not a love story other than the love you have for yourself. Okay. I'm going to set that on the box. We got 5 with bottom of the deck. We've got the Page of Swords. The Sun in reverse. I don't like looking at her like that. 7 of Wands. We got the Emperor. You can change that to Empress. Again, it doesn't matter. It's just like boss energy, responsibility, steady, reliable, that kind of thing. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Feminine, masculine, it doesn't matter. And like I said, this is just your energy, my energy, one person's energy here. So what are we in doubt about? And I say we because I mean I can be honest. I have doubt. I have doubt all the time. I mean, that's why I talk to God. That's why I talk to myself all the time, right? I have doubt all the time. And I'm going to be brutally honest. I think most of my doubt is in myself, Trauma response, maybe that's a trauma response, that's from past experience, right? And it's not easy to shake that feeling, that thought process. It is what it is. You deal with it when you feel it. That's why I said, like, I talk to myself all the time. I talk to God, I talk to the cats. I talk with my good friends. It's kind of funny, though, because with the 7 of Wands, the Emperor, like, this is good energy. Like, this is good energy. Like, this is positive energy. Even the Page of Swords, right? Rob Barthelman put on there, Truth Seeker. And typically, when we think of pages, we think of young, new, fresh energy. Sometimes, if you look at it from more of a negative aspect, you look at it like people always say, like dick energy. Like they're not thinking with their head, they're thinking with their genitals, or they're not thinking of like abundance as a whole, they're only thinking of money, right? So page can, depending on how you look at it, a page can be good energy, it can be bad energy. To me, the Page of Swords, it almost kind of gives me the feeling of justice. It almost kind of gives me like a Libra kind of, like somebody standing up for themselves, somebody standing up for the truth, their truth, right? And with the Seven of Wands, the Emperor, this is, and again, it's easier said than done, but this is somebody needing to let go of that self-doubt that's on the Sun in reverse, and stand in this Seven of Wands, this Emperor energy, because you have it in you. Like we all have it in you, in us, I should say. And it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this a little bit today. Um, Pardon me. Uh, Sometimes, and this is just me, like thinking about myself and thinking about myself in reference to my work colleagues. But sometimes, and I've heard, okay, rumors of people saying that, like, I thought I was stuck up, like I thought I was better than everybody else. And it's kind of funny because lately I've gotten like that kind of feeling, and not necessarily from anyone specific at work, but just like an overall feeling. Like these people think I'm an asshole, basically. Like like I'm elite and I think I'm better than everybody else and I'm snooty and da 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 da. And I think part of that comes from the fact that every time I experience something negative, every time something happens to me, or I should say I'm a part of something negative, right? I always seem to reinvest the energy that I would have put into someone or something else back into myself. And a lot of people don't really know how to do that. Like okay, so like just again, an example, right? I fell in love with the guy at work. When it didn't work out, even before it wasn't working out, I had started to work on myself, exercise, I was doing crunches, my weightlifting, right? Everything went to shit with him and my friend at work. And probably like what, like August, like end of August, I started walking every day. Well, I didn't start walking every day, but I started walking, which led to walking every day. I was investing the time I would have spent with him in me, which is where I should have always invested my time, right? But people don't look at it like that. Like any other woman who doesn't know how to transmute that energy would have been like, oh, he doesn't love me? Okay, let me chase him. Let me make him love me. Let me harass him. Let me buy him stuff. Let me, this, that, and the other. And I didn't do that. I was like, okay, you're not interested. You don't even want to talk to me, so you don't want to be friends. Oh, then I'm going to move along. And I did. I moved along. And I did it with the friend too, right? Because I tried to reach out to her and I told her from the beginning, like, I love you, but if you and him are together, I just can't have anything to do with that because of my own sanity. But I love you and I want the best for you. And she cut me off too. And it was like, okay, so I'm not going to. And I had I had this conversation with my friend a few weeks ago that I think that the both of them thought that I was going to chase them for, like, at the very least friendship, and I just didn't do that, because I don't do that. First of all, I'm not going to, if you don't want to have anything to do with me, why would I try and make you have something to do with me? And then, like I told you guys, like, I don't want to be accused of harassment at work. I don't want to lose my job. So, I mean, I just walked away from the situation because that was my only other option. And I invested all that energy that I could have invested in the friendship with her, in a lover situation with him. I invested all of that in me. And over, like, the last, I don't know what, 3-4 months, like, I've lost weight, I eat better, I have a more positive outlook for the most part. I mean, I still have negative thoughts like everybody else. I dress better. Like, I actually take pride in my appearance. I'm not going to work like a slob every day. I actually like buying clothes now, and, I look for cute little things and more dresses and my cute little boots that I bought. And, people, I think, are looking at it not as like, and don't get me wrong, there are some people there that are like, oh, good for you, you look great, blah blah blah, and they're genuine. I can tell they're genuine. But there's other people there that don't say anything, that look at me, and I can just, like, feel it rolling off them in waves, like, thinking, like, who the fuck do you think you are? And it's like this. I don't think I'm any better than any one of them. I just do what I do for me different than what they would do for themselves. And I think at the end of the day, they can't distinguish that. They can't recognize that. So, like, they hate on me, right? They're like, they don't get, because they don't get it. They don't get it. I already have enough I already have enough self-doubt most of the time, that when I feel that from them, like, I literally just got to ignore certain specific people and go about my business and pretend that, like, they don't even exist. Because if I had to recognize them, I probably would go ape shit. I'm not kidding. I probably would go ape shit and, like, beat the hell out of these people. And more because they need it. They need a swift, like my mom always said, you need a swift kick in the ass. Because why are if you're upset by somebody's progress and someone's enlightenment, then that's a you issue, right? And here's the thing. I talk about this too with you guys before. Like, you got to take accountability for your action and your inaction. So when you're a part of a situation and you might not be the positive part, you might be the negative aspect, you really need to think about that. You really need to be honest about who you are in every situation. You really need, because how are you supposed to move on from it? How are you supposed to transmute that energy? How are you supposed to be a better person if you're constantly telling yourself, "Oh, it's not me, it's them. It's not me, it's them." And if it was anything but me transmuting negative energy for positive energy for me, and using that to grow spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally, if it was anything but that, I would be more than happy to take a hit and be like, okay, maybe I'm a little full of myself. Maybe I'm a little bit of a jackass, whatever. But when I took that situation and I turned that around to make something better for myself, I can't really be upset about that. I can't really, like, apologize for that. And I don't think anybody should. And I think people that have that thought, people that think like that, those are the people that really need to sit down and think about themselves and think about who they are and who they want to be. Because I just, okay, so me on my weight loss journey, right? Doing it the old fashioned way, cutting calories, working out, walking. When I went to my Reiki course for the 3-day weekend, there's a lovely lady there, I think maybe like late 50s, 60s. And you could kind of tell like she was probably bigger, but she had lost some weight. But I didn't comment on it. It's not for me to comment on. Well, I had mentioned to them that I had been on, like, I was on a weight loss journey and I had lost 40 pounds since June. And later on, next day or whatever, I can't remember, it was just me and that one woman and then one of the other ladies in the room because I think we got there early. And the other lady was like, "Can I ask you how you lost the 40 pounds?" So I just, I told her, I said, I've been watching my calories and my food intake, my protein intake for probably like a year and trying to refine that like as I go, cutting out sugar and carbs and, eating more vegetables, more natural sugar like fruits, and just trying to stick to like a protein rich diet, which includes protein shakes, chicken, beef when I want to have beef, but like a meal for me would be like a steak and some asparagus. No bread, no pasta. You know what I mean? And the other lady, the older lady, made a comment and I said, "Oh, you lost weight?" I said, "How did you lose weight?" I said, "What did you do? What was your experience, right? Like what was your journey?" And she said, "I had bariatric surgery." And I looked at her and I said, "That's amazing." I said, and it's working out for you." I said, "That's great." And she just kind of looked at me and she goes, "You're only the second person to say that to me." And I looked at her and I said, "Well," I said, "you have to do what's right for you, right?" And I told her, I said, no offense, because I had plenty of family members and friends that had weight loss surgery. And now there's all the people that take like Manjaro and all that. There's the lady at work that I was friends with but doesn't like me anymore. Not the one that I got into it with last year, but the other one that called me a racist and all that BS. Um, she's on one of those weight loss pill injection things, and she lost a lot of weight. She really has. The thing is my fear, which one of my other friends basically said, it's not a fear, like it's the truth. She drinks a lot. She eats a lot of shitty foods, and even though she's on whatever that medication is and she's lost weight, she hasn't really changed any of her habits. So if she were to go off the weight loss drug, she's just going to go back to the way she was before because she still drinks. She still eats like shit. I mean, if you're not really serious about it, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, this lady, I told her, I said for me, weight loss surgery would be a last resort. Like I really wouldn't want to do that. And I really wanted to, at the very least, try to do it on my own, with diet and exercise because I never really combined it all. Like sometimes I would cut calories when I was younger and I could lose weight. Sometimes I wouldn't cut calories. I would eat like a pig and I would exercise like crazy and I would lose weight. Now I'm 45. The game is different, right? It's harder to lose weight when you're older. So I just like I'm just going to do both. I'm going to see what happens. That's okay, right? And who's to say in, another year or two, like I don't say, maybe I should get that weight loss surgery. Like I can't go any further, but I want to lose, I could, right? Am I a horrible person because I do that? And I felt bad for this woman because I think when she tells people that she did weight loss surgery, like they think it's like a stigma, like, Oh, like you just had surgery because you couldn't do it on your own. Oh, you just had surgery because you're too lazy. Okay, well, you don't understand that the whole point is you have the surgery, and then after the surgery, again, you're supposed to watch what you eat. You're supposed to exercise, right? It's about getting down to a manageable weight size or size, weight, whatever, however you want to phrase that, and then going from there. I have two friends at work, both bigger ladies, both a little bit bigger than me, and they want to have weight loss surgery. And I think that's amazing. Go have weight loss surgery. Here's the thing. They didn't work any less than I did. They've all been trying for years to lose weight. They just decided, okay, I'm done. I need to go another route. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That they're going to have that surgery and hopefully it's going to change their whole perspective, right? And they'll stick with it. Because it's not a miracle. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Because after you have the surgery, you need to keep up with it. I've had friends that had weight loss surgery, and after like 5-7 years, they were just back to the same freaking weight because they didn't check themselves. Anyway, I got off on a tangent. The thing is, the whole point I'm trying to make is there's always going to be doubters out there. There's always going to be haters out there. And for someone to sit in self-doubt and self-hate with oneself is just ridiculous. Like, it's something that people need to learn to work through on their own, figure out their own stuff, because you shouldn't sit in this energy. And I think when you realign yourself and you recognize your capability, and there's a word that I want to use and I can't. It's like on the tip of my tongue. Projection, but not like negative projection. That's not the word. When you recognize how far you can actually go on your own merit and do what you need to do to take care of yourself, that's when everything falls into place. That's when all the answers come, the enlightenment, you know. It's like when I started working out and I started weights and crunches. Like I told you guys, I started that like in June, maybe even end of May, I can't remember. And I didn't start walking until like end of August, I want to say. Somewhere around there. Actually, no, maybe it was more like the beginning of August. Because I probably lost maybe like 15-20 pounds by the end of August. Somewhere around there. So I probably started walking like beginning to middle of August. But it's like recognizing like, okay, I'm doing this and this is working great, but what else can I add on to it a little to make it even better? And the thing is when you exercise, your body releases endorphins and you get that natural high. You start to enjoy it. Like I love walking outside. I love the fresh air. I love hearing the birds chirp. Even now when it's winter, like to hear the sound of the snow fall and hear, just the clarity in the air. Like it's so peaceful to just go outside and take a walk and just sit in your own energy because nobody else is around and you could just kind of be. If you want to talk to yourself, you can talk to yourself, talk to God. You can listen to music, whatever. Sometimes I listen to tarot readings when I walk. Whatever, like I want to calm me. And it becomes more than just exercise. It becomes therapy, right? And you get addicted to that. I got addicted to it. Now with my hurt knee, like I cannot stand that I can't walk. It's driving me insane. And I know I keep joking, like, oh, I gained like 80 pounds. The thing is eventually I'm going to gain all my weight back if I can't get back out there and walk. And it's going to drive me crazy. The thing is now that I know that I can do it, if that were to happen, I know that down the road, if I got back to walking, I'd be fine. I'd just do it again. I watch what I eat and walk. And since I love to do all that, it's not a big deal. Everything falls into place. Clarity. I'm gonna leave it there. Take from it what you will. Please do not turn it into a love story. That please don't do that to them. I hope it resonated. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope, if anything, you were entertained. I hope everybody had a great Tuesday. Tomorrow, okay, is New Year's Eve. Thursday is New Year's Day. I am at home. I am off both days. I will be doing affirmations. I will be doing reads. I'm going to try and do extra. Like, if I feel the call to do extra, I'll do extra. So no guarantees, but probably likely, I would say. Because the only other thing I'm going to be doing the next few days is working on my courses online for my certification for grief coaching. So I tried to start last night and then I fell asleep. I was on page, like, I think page 5 or 6 of the first course, and there's like 29 pages. I was like, yeah, I can't. I gotta go to bed. And I was gonna do some of it today when I was on lunch, and then I just got busy talking with my friend. So I will be working on that the next 2 days and just hanging out with you guys, I suppose. I hope everybody has a safe and wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.